Well, Happy New Year, and God bless, or good fortune, or Mazel Tov, or whatever you like best. I thought I would attempt to talk since I don't seem to do much of that anymore. Um, yeah, last couple days have been rough. Last couple days, I ate two cheese sandwiches. That's it. That's like, yeah, I don't think people really like to hear about them with those kind of physical issues, and I don't like to talk about them. But it's just an aspect of the disease I got that sometimes everything just shuts down. And I had to use chemicals to help the factory to begin rolling again, which always just leaves me cramped. Like if I didn't have a metal rod in my spine, I would be curled up in a fetal position, cramped for like 24 hours. This is not something new, but it was getting to that point, and if I'm gonna be honest, I mean, I don't. This is gonna be unpleasant. I'm gonna warn you right now. If you haven't bailed already, now might be the time to do that. But so I'm hearing like, um, hmm, it was in a perhaps like a, if you can believe it, a comedic context. But I'm hearing um, that when people, what was it about? When people get crippled, like to where they're in a wheelchair, their assholes won't open up anymore. And I had already known that for some people that they actually have to live like this, they actually have to get their excrement removed manually. So I'm hearing about all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is making me very uncomfortable hearing about this. And then I start thinking, am I drifting into this sort of territory, or am I that crippled up because things have gotten that bad with me? And I'm like, is it? And I start thinking, like, it's not like a holiday depression or anything like that, but I'm like, is how close am I getting to where I have to take the nuclear option and just bail on this whole Steve thing, which I don't want to do. Believe me, I don't want to do that. But it comes a point in time where like I said, you don't want to cross that line, and the problem with that line is a lot of times you like drift into it. So I don't want to cross that line to where I am dependent upon the kindness of strangers, because the kindness of family is iffy, let alone the kindness of strangers. So, I don't want to become dependent. I don't want to become like in a nursing home situation or anything like that. It's like, so I had a bad couple of days where, I mean, my stomach hurts right now, and it's like half cramp, half feed me, or hungry. And yeah, but I don't want to get to the point where like I drift across that line and then it's out of my hands. It's like I get separated from the huge stash of pills I have here specifically for that purpose of a specific drug that is a respiratory inhibitant. I'm just making up a name for it, but what it means is it depresses your respiratory system. That's how the best suicide pills work. That's why, like, if you mix a bunch of downs, like Heath Ledger did, you might not wake up ever again. And the whole idea of like ending it that way is abhorrent to me, but I can't have a gun around to end it in a sensible fashion where you can't screw it up, because, like, um, I can't be trusted with the gun because every day I want to die. So, I can't be trusted to have a gun on the premises because I don't have any days that go by where I'm not like I'm better off dead for like years now. So you know, it's like whenever the psych people ask me, it's like, have you thought about harming yourself? Because they have a set volley of questions they have to throw at you every time, regardless. Not always, let's say, like every day. It's like, yeah, it's like, is how long is and I told the one guy and he thought it was sad or whatever. It's like I never wanted to exist. I never remember like wanting. I remember that from being a little kid. Like it's like no, I don't want to kill myself. It's just like I should have never been born in the first place. Is because like I was FAB, and I don't stand for fabulous. It stands for fuck that birth, because a lot of people get thrown into a situation where as soon as they become an evil thought in your dad's mind, uh, as soon as you get that far in the process, you're already fucked because you're going to be thrown into a situation where people are not going to thrive. You know, it's just not going to work out for them. And you know, I had one brother that committed suicide. You got me. Obviously, things haven't worked out for me. You got my younger brother. He's got PTSD, and he was just offered a chance to do some traveling that he had to turn down because of his anxiety, where he could go fish in the ocean. He loves to fish. He's never fished in the ocean, and fishing in the ocean, if you're a fisherman, is fucking awesome because you can pull up anything. You pull up something with legs. I watched somebody catch a lizard fish. I did not even know what a lizard fish was. My best friend has been fishing in the ocean for years, and I asked him, I was like, "Do you like ever catch anything that you don't know, have any idea what it is?" And he's like, "All the time." He's like, "I don't know all the species in the ocean, so you fish freshwater, you know, the chances of you catching something you've never seen before are very, very slim. You fish in the ocean, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get. All you know about the fish in the ocean is that everything that you catch in the ocean can hurt you. Just remember that. Everything you catch in the ocean can hurt you. It's either poisonous if you eat it, but everything has teeth. Yeah, everything in the ocean has teeth and can hurt you with teeth or spines or something. Even the catfish in the ocean can fuck you up. It's like you catch a catfish that's freshwater and it spines you, which has happened to me like only once because I'm not an idiot. And wow, that hurts, you know, and there's a chance it could get infected and stuff like that. You get spined by a saltwater catfish, they're barbed, which means the barb can break off inside you, and you have to go to a doctor and get it removed. So everything in the ocean is dangerous. That happened to my cousin in Florida, where he got spined in the hand by a catfish, and the barb broke off, and then his hand got all infected and shit, and it became a whole big thing. And he's not one for going to the doctor, so he had to have actually a surgery performed on his hand, and had to be given antibiotic over a goddamn catfish yay big. And you know, they had to dig around in there, and he's like, yeah, he's like, they said that was gonna hurt, and it did, you know, and they had to dig out this little barb. So point being is like everybody born into my family has got major problems of one kind or another. My older brother was like a passed out, piss in a paper bag in the corner, drunk, and my other older brother killed himself. Uh, my one older sister is was a shut-in, like an agoraphobic, but had good health, but just couldn't deal with people and couldn't deal with. She just distanced herself from the family, and um, yeah, she had a boyfriend that went out and got her food and took care of her and did everything for her. But I haven't. I might not recognize her if I saw her. I haven't seen her for probably between 18 and 20 years, and she doesn't want to see anybody in the family. Um, like I said, younger brother missed out on his fishing trip. My younger sister, I'm not going to go into her issues because, yeah, it would be rude. And then there's me, as I'm like the middle child. I want everybody to get along, you know. So, anyways, yeah. So it's been a rough couple of days, and I don't, I'm getting to the point where like I don't know how to make this shit better. I don't even want to go to the doctor because I know it's going to entail a bunch of unpleasant bullshit, and going to the doctor doesn't always work out for me. So they make things worse, and many times have made things worse. So I really don't, I don't have any choice. Of course, you got to have a doctor. As far as my gabapentin, I took 4 of them. I don't know what time on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve. I have no time, no idea when. I know they put me out and put me to sleep, and then I woke up at 8:30 thinking it was already the new year, and like 1:30 in the morning, but it was 8:30. Then I called and talked to my brother, and he surprised me when he said that he got invited to go um, to Florida on vacation with my best friend. Because I told my best friend, like, you know, to tell me, but I guess like plans changed or whatever. Maybe he had a change of heart or whatever. But he told me like, yeah, that's off the table because we had worked out. If you give him a month to warm up to the idea and understand that he's not ever going to get a chance to fish in the ocean. We live in fucking Ohio, like in the middle of the country. Like this would be like one chance to sample ocean fishing, probably. If you give him time to think about it, he might be able to summon up the courage to go and overcome his anxieties or whatever. I don't think I could get him to take anti-anxiety medication, just for a day, which of course I have here in spades. Since I can't convince him to take melatonin, which his brain is forcing him to take anyway. But if you give him time, you might warm up to the idea. But if you tell him that, and then you're leaving in 4 days, there's no way in hell that's going to happen. So, you know, it's unfortunate for him because ocean fishing is so damn cool. So, anyways, all I wanted in my life was never to have existed. So I did the best thing that I could do for my children by not giving birth to them. Because, yeah, that's all I ever wanted. It's like, why am I here? This sucks. And I remember feeling like that like forever. This doesn't mean that I didn't have fun sometimes, which of course I always try to have fun. And, you know, I have some interesting memories and some interesting stories, some of which I was just sharing on the internet in written form before coming on here and talking to you. And one of them was like, I was detailing. Well, one guy called me a liar because, like I say, like I was having an argument with some guy, and I was talking about living in a meth house, and I was like, "Well, here's me. If you read this far, and I wrote this big long thing, I was like, here's me." And I showed him my machetes and police thing, and he's like, you know, now that I see that I'm talking to some shirtless guy laying in a bed on a shit computer, and he's attacking me and then saying that I'm telling bullshit stories and making stuff up and whatever. And I'm like, well, why are you attacking me? You're not attacking my argument. I didn't get so like silly to get angry at people on the internet when you're both hiding behind the keyboard. It's just dumb. It's just it threats and stuff just looks stupid. The keyboard warrior thing. And so, anyways, I was telling the story about living in the meth house where there's like this. I think she was anywhere from 17 to 20 years old. I don't know, but she was really good looking, and she had probably just started abusing meth because you don't get good looking after you've been using meth for a while, as you can watch those horrible videos on YouTube before and after if you want to. When she was, I'm like, what am I seeing here? I'm like, oh, that's that one hot girl. She's got a little red wagon full of firewood. There's no place in this building that has a fireplace. What is she doing? And it wasn't just that it was firewood, because if it's cut firewood, maybe it has some kind of value, and she could sell it for a nickel to put toward a little baggie of ice. But it was also like sticks and branches and shit. Like it was like cut pieces of firewood, and there was also just like these weird branches and sticks in there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then she wheeled it back there, and and there was like a big pile of random firewood. And I'm like, are they gonna burn the fucking building down? I mean, what is the end game for the firewood back there? Is the in the pile never got smaller, so it wasn't like they were doing it for some other place. Maybe they were doing it for the the meth cookhouse across the street. I don't know, but the pile never seemed to get smaller, and it was there after they left. So I don't know what that was, but that was just a weird thing to see. I also saw the same girl like walk in here first thing in the morning carrying a pink baseball bat. You know the baseball bats they give away sometimes at baseball games for breast cancer that are pink. She walked in here carrying a pink baseball bat over her shoulder, and I was like, because before Stampy moved in, I used to actually sit in the living room and watch what was going on in the neighborhood and watch things, and I had a TV out there, and everything, and had a different existence. So, um, yeah, so I just have to ride out my stomach issues, and um, yeah, you think about like the horrible way that other people live, and like I'm kind of in unknown territory as far as like I don't know what third stage CRPS. I know I could get limbs amputated, and I know like my bowels shut down, and that happens like way too often. It's like any bowel movement that I have, it's really not from the gut. I'm not like emptying myself out. And then like I don't want to empty myself out sometimes because like once I start going, I don't stop, and that's miserable. And involves like cleanups, like I said, unpleasant stuff. But I'm not a suicidal, like depressed, boohoo type of person, so it takes a lot to make me think of like getting the fuck off this big earthly plane and just say like that's enough of this shit. So it's going to be bad stuff. I mean, I can't describe like the neuropathy and uh, the humiliation of being shirtless all the time and not being able to do anything, and like having feet that don't work and getting hurt and bleeding and having toenails that jump off your feet and all the fucking other craziness. It's like, you know, there's just a lot of things. I mean, I can't explain what it is to live like that. I can just tell you that it's bad and that you don't want to live like that. It's like once I freed up my mind, like the Beatles song says, it's like I don't need a whole shit ton of stuff to be happy. I just need to be in a reasonable amount of pain that I can handle and not live in a crazy house where there's like a bunch of crazy, stupid people and not be fucked with by my family. And I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm actually just happy sitting there writing on the computer, or if I can do something physical, that's wonderful. I don't get to do many things that are physical. And watching TV, man. I'm a big fan of that, but thank God for TV. I can understand the appeal of it now that I can't do a whole lot else. And my reading days are pretty well done. I read on the computer. I don't read books and novels anymore. I've done that. I don't need to do any more of that. Not interested in that. I do listen to audiobooks sometimes. So um, I don't need. I just don't need the things that other people need. Just because I've become accustomed to having such a miserable life. It's like, give me a certain level of misery and I'm cool. It's like, yeah, just allow me to, I expect to be in a certain amount of pain, and, I've got a bad past, and, you know, I have things I have to live with psychologically, but just give me a certain amount of peace, excuse me, and a certain amount of bodily discomfort, and I can handle it no problem. So it takes a lot to make me want to think like, there's no way the fuck out of this mess. And for me to get out of the pit that I'm in, I have to go to the doctor and be sent for all these tests and be like harassed. And then they always harass you like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm always like, fuck you, in so many words. I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, and I'm not doing that either. And I was thinking like maybe I do. They're always bothering me about like the what do they call it, colon cancer test. I'm like, maybe I do have colon cancer. I don't know. And then I'm like, start thinking bad things when your body don't work because you look for explanations. But the problem is like with CRPS, you don't have any reason or rationale behind the way your body behaves. So, like a pain in your leg could mean that you're getting stabbed by something, or it could mean nothing. Because, like I've said, plenty of times I'm bleeding and I don't know why. I'm like, when did I do this? How did I do this? I noticed that I'm bleeding by looking down and seeing the blood. And like I said, I stepped on a tack before and then walked on a tack. And the only reason why I knew I had a tack in my foot is I was walking on linoleum and I was hearing it clicking. Then I looked down at the floor and there's like a trail of blood across the floor. And that's when I was in good shape. That's when I was like in my early 30s that happened. It happened once here, too. I don't know how many years ago. That's happened twice in my life where I stepped on a tack and didn't know it. I was just like, and then like that one time was funny. I was hearing a click on the linoleum. I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked down and there's a trail of blood. And not a big trail of blood, of course, but just enough blood to let me know that something was up. And then I was more flexible. My flexibility is also a problem that I currently don't have a whole lot of that. But I was able to, bend my foot around and say, oh, I got a tack in my foot. But like now, I'm getting flexibility issues. I also don't know exactly what I can do with this knee. I know that it was horribly swollen. Um, the last time I really looked at it, I try to avoid, you know, you can't live like that. You can't like dwell on like, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. Look at all your horrible things. Sort of like going in the mirror, looking at a pimple on your head or whatever. Looking at a pimple, it's not going to make it any better by looking at it. You're better off to ignore it if there's not much you can do about it. So, but people being people, that's what you do is like you'll obsess about like a pimple on your face, or you'll obsess about like, oh, something's wrong with my knee here, man. Or if you got something like I got this bruise. I don't know how I got it, but I got this weird looking bruise on my left leg, and I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. It's there. What the hell? Why would I look at it, worry about it, and obsess on it? And I started thinking also while I was thinking bad thoughts. There, I was thinking like, why my foot was hurting like a whole bunch, and I was like, what if whatever's in my knee cuts off the blood supply in my foot, and they have to amputate my knee, amputate my leg below the knee, and then it's like I'm starting to think like a lot of bad what ifs. And one of the things about CRPS is because your pain is your body telling you something's wrong. So that's what's so bad about CRPS is you're getting pain signals that mean nothing, and so you have to learn to ignore all that shit. Just like when you step on a tack, you're just so used to ignoring it's pain. It's just another pain. You just ignore it. So you don't want to go down that road to where you're thinking about stuff. But if you can't keep yourself busy, like physically or with your hobbies or whatever, your mind is going to turn inward and you're going to start thinking about things like the what ifs. None of it's good. And you know what? I spit out like a huge bunch of gum that I was chewing because I didn't want to appear rude on camera. Appear like them tobacco chewing Southern boys. I didn't want to appear like that, and I didn't give myself this other piece of gum. And I was going to break out the Blue Yeti, but I'm not sure I can get that thing to work right. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I know it only works sometimes, so I was like, I didn't bother. I think it does make a difference, especially if I'm reaching for things on the keyboard, because that makes noise like I just did. And I also made a glitch as far as like the video. But anyways, the the main thing here, or the main takeaway here, is I'm still alive, and I'm still stuck in this fucking mess after all these damn years. 53 years now. I've been stuck in situations that have kind of like been in water over my head, to where I'm just treading water trying to survive. There were a couple times in my life where I could have got, I was in good enough shape to where I could have done something with my life. Like at one point, I was like, you know what, I'm not doing anything with my life. I think I was in my late 20s before I figured out that I could write and that, oh, I should be a writer. But I was like, I'm not doing anything with my life. What if I like got kicked off of Social Security on purpose and was forced to get a job and was forced to do things? It's like, yeah, my body don't quite work like other people and stuff, but I'm strong. I can walk. My resting heart rate's in the 70s, and I do have to wear a thing around my middle to wear shirts comfortably. But I'm just tired of like this boring, nothing existence. I'm never gonna do anything if I'm just laying around, sucking on the government teat. And then I don't know if I talked to somebody about that or I talked myself out of it, but I was like, yeah, but you can't give up your medical insurance. Now, if I was in Canada, I might have made that decision and been like, oh, I don't have any money, so I'm going to be forced. I'm going to do some tough love on myself. I'm going to be forced to find a job. I'm going to be forced to live a different life than the boring, stupid existence that I had. But, medical bills being what they are, you can't give up. I couldn't give up my free medical insurance. And, suppose like I did that and before I could get a job where they had offered some sort of health care, like something happened to me, and then I'm in debt for like $12,000, you know, that I've got to pay off. So I talked myself out of it, for good or for ill. Um, but anyways, yeah, just a lot of regret running around in my mind too, and the constant reminder of like, oh yeah, should have spent that money on teeth. But I didn't have nobody to advise me on it, nobody to help me out, and nobody to borrow the money from. I don't. I think I might have been able to borrow that money from my wealthy best friend, but I didn't want to. But I'm not sure about that because that guy is stingy with himself. He had like an old motor that he was. He just bought a new motor for the first time in his life. The dude's 66 years old, is a hardcore fisherman. Like, oh, I got about 2 hours to spare. I think I can squeeze in a fishing trip type of fisherman, right? The dude has never bought a new motor before in his life, and he is what I would consider wealthy. So, by wealthy, I mean like six figures, uh, high two figures at least. Because at one time he was getting a cop salary after being on the force for a lot of years, which is a good salary, and because he was working past 20 years on the force, he was getting three streams of income. He was getting a cop salary, he was getting a cop pension, and he had some investments that they set up for policemen on the side that was paying dividends. So, I asked him about it once. I don't, obviously, I'm not rude, so I don't delve into it. I don't ask people like, man, how much scratch you make? So, one time on a long fishing trip, I kind of like worked around that question and I actually asked him, hopefully in a more polite profession, like, how much money you got anyway? Uh, I hope I said fashion right, but I got like, I'm all phlegmy and I'm not breathing that good these days, which also alarming. What the fuck was I talking about? I was talking about that motor thing. So he bought a motor for the first time in his life, and he only bought it because he couldn't get his old one serviced unless he paid $1,000 on it. So it's like pay it's like good money after bad thing. Should I put money into this car or get a new car? For those of you who aren't fishermen, should I put money into this motor or should I get him a new motor? So he got a new motor for $2,800, and I was like, well, that was a sensible decision. And I said that way you really only spent $1,800 on the motor because you would have had to spend 1,000 anyway. And he goes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, I know. I've known you for like 35 years, so I know how you think. But I just let people be. I let him tell me a funny story over again that I had heard before, um, where he was competing in the kayak race, and he's an old guy, but he competed in the kayak race, and he's so competitive that like he sideswiped his son-in-law and swapped paint, as they would say in NASCAR, with a guy in a kayak and banged into his kayak so he could get the inside lane and win the race. I let him tell me the story of that, and then he was like, "Yeah, they actually keep track in that race of times, and I had the fastest time. At 65 years old, I had the fastest time on as far as kayaking, because he's an endurance runner. He's a runner. He used to run to work and run back, and it was kind of funny. Like people, I've talked to this talked about this before, but I don't know if I've said this on here, so I want to say it again, and I'll try to keep it short. Which trying to keep it short makes it longer. But um, so this dude, this is something that people don't know about cops and criminals, is they get to know each other like really well, because the same people are arresting the same people all the time. The same people are being called by the same people on the same people all the damn time. The same people are running after the same people all the time. So, uh, my friend, I'm trying not to use his name, is why I'm hesitating. My friend um, would be chasing down criminals, on foot. It happens all the time, not just on cops and on TV. So he'd be chasing down these people on foot, and then he would catch them. And he'd be like, sometimes they'd be faster than me, but it wouldn't matter, because if they didn't have any place to go, they'd gas out, and be grabbing their knees, and I would just walk up to them with my gun drawn and tell them to put their hands behind their back, which they were more than ready to do, because they're worried about having a heart attack and shit. So, anyways, so after arresting like the same people over and over again throughout his career, he said after a while they would look behind them and see it was me chasing them, and then they'd just stop. They just give up, because he said they knew I wasn't going to give up. They knew that I had better endurance than they had, and they weren't going to be able to outrun me. So they just save themselves the bother. They look behind him and see, because he's distinctive, because he was like 6'5", and is a distinctive looking dude, and they'd see him and they'd be like, shit. So they just stop running, stop running, and do this. He's an exercise maniac. Like, I seen him do some pretty good feats of strength, but the endurance thing was more impressive. Like, he'd do like take several flights of steps off of this pier, carrying a cooler, gigantic oversized cooler with like 5 fish in it that weighed 120 pounds, like all together, because they're big Chinook salmon in there. And the cooler was so heavy that when you put it in the trunk, the trunk went down, So, but he carried it like up these steps, and it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember how many flights of steps. It's been so long since I've been there. I think it's like 4 flights of steps, but he carried it up the steps. And the other place we went fishing at didn't even have steps. It just had like a broken ass hill at the Sandusky River. And we'd go for the white bass run, and he would carry like a cooler full of fish up that hill. So his cardiovascular health was like nuts. But anyways, um, as far as my situation, I just looked at my email while I was talking to my brother on the phone like a while ago, and I have an appointment. They keep switching me around on my like, care source insurance, health insurance people. And I have an appointment coming up on the 7th where they're going to nag me about not having a doctor. And I'll just tell them. I think it's called Life Care. Yeah, I think it's called Life Care. The place has got it's the Walmart of the medical profession, because you can go there and get all your needs met. They got dentistry, primary caregivers, optometry. It's good for me because these glasses up, and I guess that's the way I'll go. So I don't want. Yeah, I'm just tired of it. Tired of this whole mess. And yeah, I had no contact with, or a word from anybody in my family all through the holidays. Uh, I called my brother a couple of times and talked to him, but nobody reached out to me. Boo hoo hoo, poor me. But yeah, I'm kind of like still have one person in the family I talk to, which is my brother, and he's kind of like he doesn't really know a whole lot about what's going on because he's funny. I'm talking to him about my shit and like really just stupid stuff about TV show, but some of my stuff too. And I stopped talking, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I had to do a lot of work, and I'm kind of dizzy, and I feel like I should be laying down, so I want to get off the phone. And I'm like, didn't say like, well, I'm laying down and talking on the phone right now. If you want to get off the phone, that's cool. I didn't say nothing like that, but I'm like, okay. And then just because I'm devious, I started asking him questions about himself, and he's more than happy to talk about himself. And I'm like, yeah, you got to go, right? So I better go let you lay down now. And I cut him off and then hung up the phone and laughed to myself. Like, yeah, people love themselves, man. Love to talk about themselves. They might even get on the internet and talk to themselves about themselves. It could happen. So yeah, I just thought that was funny. He was booting me off the phone, and then I asked him some questions about himself, and I flipped it around on him, and then booted him off the phone by reminding him that he booted me off the phone. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, I have to take my amusements where I can find them. Um, yeah, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm not exactly sure where my intake is as far as like how many pills I have left. I know I have over 50 volume left, and I know that my refill date is the 6th, but I know also that I won't be able to pick them up until the 7th. So 14 pills minus 50. So that's like 36. I think that sound right to you? Um, that's about where I was last month. I might be a couple of pills past where I was last month, and I think I wrecked my health trying to, um, by cutting pills in half and trying to like lower my dose. We'll see where I end up. I'll come on here and tell you, and I'll do like another report card day. And what crawled up my nose now? Yeah. Another thing about my physical condition that is unpleasant is my shower is just made for midgets. It's not made for people 6'1", 190 pounds. So there's nowhere to move in there, and it's almost like I could fall out of it. I mean, the part is so tiny. I almost wish it was just a shower with a floor and no tub. I think they have a setup like that upstairs where it's like one of those type of deals, like at the gym or whatever. But then I could set my chair down. My chair don't even fit in there, my shower chair and stuff. So I'm filthy, and it's like my legs don't bend, so it's really hard for me to get cleaned up. And it's just getting worse. It's just making me think nursing home, which makes me think gigantic stash of pills. I don't want to get there. No, I also am still stupid enough that to think about people that don't really seem to care about me, like my brother. Like, you could have took me in and got me out of here and been better off for it because he had a spare room, but he wouldn't do it. But I'm worried about like what my suicide would do to him. I'm worried about what like it won't matter to me at all. It's like I wouldn't care one way or another. I just don't like the modus operandi that I would have to employ would have to be like pills. I don't like that at all. But as far as like dying, it don't matter. It don't matter to me at all. It's like I don't want to die because I don't want to. I still feel like I have something to do or something that I'm supposed to do left. I don't know what the fuck it is, you know. And I also don't want to hurt these people that have hurt me, which doesn't make any sense. It's like, and isn't that why people commit suicide? Like, see what you made me do, but you know, I just can't afford to get involved with my family because my health is too fragile, and they're the ones that fucked me up in the first place, But I'd like to like here's some forgiveness for Christmas. Here's some forgiveness for you. Here's some forgiveness for you. You know, and it's like I can't do that because they're not emotionally well people, and I do it would be hard for me to do that because I know that they contributed to me being in the condition I am in now. Who knows where I'd be at right now if my brother would have said, "Okay, I'll spend the summer with you. I'll trust you to not be a freeloader and not, stay in my house forever." Like I'd want to do that, and if you're a regular listener of mine, you know that it's like I had a shitload of money, so my idea was to stay there for 3 months, fix up my brother's house, and drop off my cat there, and that's that. I'm gone. I don't have to deal with a cat. That means it opens up more possibilities for me as far as places I could move, and it would get me out of here. It would get me into a residential neighborhood. It would get me more exercise. Who knows how much better off I'd be if he let me move in with him, and I could live in the suburbs and be able to go outside and walk around, or just be able to go outside and sit in the yard where my mental health would be or where my physical health would be. It's like you didn't help me out, so why in the fuck am I worried about you if I take an early exit, which you helped expedite? So none of it makes any fucking sense. Um, then I can't expect my family to make sense. I think I got $934 still on my food card. I know that they dropped my food assistance. Like they have your emergency assistance set over here for the COVID, and then they have this other amount that they give you. My amount, like I got like that little bump you get, that little raise you get if you're on Social Security or SSD, where it's cost of living increase, but they just took it off of what food stamps I got. So like I think I got a $16 raise, and then they took $13 off of my food stamps. So I was getting like in that separate pile from the COVID thing, I was getting $16, and they sent me a letter saying that I was getting $3, and then the COVID thing stays the same. I think at 188. I don't know. Um, I don't think that's changed. I don't know like if the new legislation they passed will have any effect on that. I haven't gotten my $600 in relief yet. I knew that the 2000 wasn't going to be forthcoming. And for those of you that are interested in that, uh, I don't know if you've been keeping up with it or not, but in the short form, House passed it, went to the Senate. The guy that one of the Republicans in the Senate was like, let's do a thumbs up or a thumbs down, immediate vote on it. And the Mitch McConnell guy who runs the Senate has the say over that. And he said, no, we are not doing no thumbs up, thumbs down, or sideways vote on this. And they asked a couple times. He's like, no. And so he wrote up his own bill, which is guaranteed to fail, which, I mean, the Democrats just won the election. They run the House, more or less. So if you like write your own bill where you're calling into question the election results with there's language in there about legislation probing into the election, you're gonna throw that as part of your $2,000 stimulus bill package. You're gonna throw that back to the House and say, oh, you can give people $2,000, but you're going to have to allow us to call the fact that you won the election into question. That's what they call a poison pill. They put a poison pill in a bill in order to sink it. Sink it. So, I think I'm not always right about these things, obviously, but I'm thinking the $2,000 Not gonna happen. I haven't got my $600 yet, so yeah, that's what happened. You know, got hung up in the Senate, and then they're gonna. It's a way to stall too, because everything is just going to be thrown out, and all the bills are thrown out, and going to be they're going to have to start from scratch on negotiations. Coming up on a certain date that I conveniently forgot, but that's why they had to get this thing done, possibly before today. And they might already be a done deal. I don't know. I know that after a certain time, I think maybe it was January 4th, but after a certain time, it's like even that McConnell nonsense proposed bill is just gone. They just throw it all out. Whatever bills are up and pending, they just throw them out. This is my understanding of it. Yeah, I will read some more on it and put a disclaimer in the description if I am wrong. But as far as like the bills getting tossed out, that's the only thing I'm iffy on. I'm 100% positive on everything else. So these really, really rich people don't want the really, really poor people to have any extra money. And it took them 8 months, 8 months for $600. If you average that out in the months, it's less than $100 a month. The pittance that was tossed our way. Like, ooh, that's life changing money, man. Oh man, that's 1 month's rent for most people. That's not even 1 month's rent for some people. Um, yeah. Um, but no, I'm happy enough to get the 600. I'm not hurting money wise, so the 600 would bump my savings up to around $3,000. So I mean, once I got through November, I knew I was going to be okay because November was the month where I paid my rent 3 months in advance. So um, yeah, November was a lean month. That's when the one person that owed me money said they were going to pay me the day before Thanksgiving, and they never contacted me, and I haven't been able to contact that person at all, and I haven't like been relentless about it, but I've been trying to keep in contact with them, and they're not answering my texts, or they're not texting me, and they're not calling me. I'm calling them, but all I get is nothing. I don't even get like an answering service where I can leave a message. I asked somebody else, that knows them, are like they mad at me or something like that, but I think they're just, you know, maybe ashamed. I don't know. Who knows? Not ashamed, but they could be like, I don't want to deal with it, or they just don't want to deal with it. I know right now they're spending a lot of money on other things, other necessities, so it's not a good time for them. I could have used that money in November, and when I was having that dispute with my brother over $100, it's like now I got $2,800 in the bank as soon as the $600 shows up. So, and it will show up eventually. Uh, I don't see why it wouldn't, but I suppose I shouldn't count on it. I don't know. I am fragmenting quickly as far as this video is concerned. If you are still here with me, um, yeah. But like I said, I don't really have anything new to talk about, and for me to make new stories, it's going to be really unpleasant because they will involve physical um, tortures of various kinds. And yeah, I have like this garbage that hasn't been thrown out. It's got like tuna fish cans and old rotten cans in it and stuff. And then I got sick like the last couple of days. Like I said, I've eaten 2 cheese sandwiches as an experiment. I didn't eat it all for one whole day, you know, and it was because my stomach was trashed. And I was all cramped up, like I had food poisoning or something. And then the next day, I ate like 2 sandwiches just to see what would happen, and nothing of any significance happened. So I guess I'll try to eat. Uh, I get I don't get any. My food day falls on Friday, which I keep forgetting. So that means I'm not going to get any food, it being a holiday, until Saturday. So I got to find something out there to eat. And maybe more cheese sandwiches. So maybe I'll get fancy and put some mayonnaise on one instead of just cheese between two pieces of bread. And not even like toasted cheese or anything like that. I'm not cooking. Um, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like as far as the whole suicide thing, or the reason why I put the disclaimer in there early, when I was talking about like I have seen a lot of that stuff in the hospital, and this is an again, cover your ears, children. This is not a pleasant story either, but I don't know if you believe in like I don't know, foreshadowing, omens, signs, superstitious things like that. But I got a lot of troubles with my bowels, right? I've already admitted on here that I have to wear a diaper sometimes and stuff like that. I'm a teenager. I just got operated on for my spinal tumor deal. I think I'm 16 years old. I'm in a therapy room in the Cleveland Clinic, and I'm all skin and bones. And because I asked this black guy, man, how do I look? He's like, bones, bones, and more bones. And I was like, I think I look pretty good, like jokingly in the therapy room. Anyways, so this stuck in my head, but it would stick in my head regardless. So they're walking this really old woman with a walker in the therapy room. She's got like a robe on or something like that. She drops the hugest turd I have ever seen, and then she's like right there, and then she stares into my face with this horrified look, like she understood what had happened, but it was like, you know, it's like, yeah, this is your future. I'm 16 years old. She's like, yeah, you're gonna have these kinds of issues, and it was really, yeah, you're not gonna forget something like that. And I even remember what the therapist is. She was like, he actually was like, yeah, that can happen to anybody, and then waving to people to come clean it up. This big ball of excrement that just fell. And yeah, if I believed in omens or whatever like that, it's like, why did she pick me of all the motherfucking people? And there's tons of people in a physical therapy room in a hospital the size of the clinic. Why is she looking at me? Like, I can still see her fucking face. And yeah, I thought about that for the first time in a long time. And yeah, I think I said that to I said that to somebody in the family. I wanted to let them know without in so many terms like how bad off I was. So I told them like terror isn't a grizzly bear. Terror is not being able to feel your own asshole. I mean, that's the way I told them, and I told them in such a way that they would remember it. But yeah, incontinence is a horrible thing, and a malfunctioning digestive system, and then like not being able to feel your own body, where your legs are in time and space, to just be fine one minute and falling the next, or like to fall in a bathroom and grab a hold of you know an exposed screw and then wonder if you're going to have tetanus, which that healed up real good. I don't have tetanus, and you know, these are not good things. Uh, yeah. At the same time, like I said, if I have like a certain amount of peace and quiet and not be involved in other people's bullshit, it's very important. I don't. It'd be nice to have a supportive family, but a lot of people don't have that. So you know, it would be nice just to get the shit resolved. I think that would help me a lot. And I tried that because I was like, I feel bad a lot of the times and I feel sick a lot of the times. Maybe if I fix this thing with my sister and smooth that over, maybe I would feel better physically on it. It'd be better for my heart, because I was having a lot of heart trouble at the time. And so I call her up and it's just the same shit, just worse. The same arrogance, the same scorn in her tone, the same, like, fucking indifference. I'm like, well, that didn't work. And, yeah, that's 3 years now. I don't know how long from when I made that phone call. It's 3 years now since I've talked to her. And she's made no effort to talk to me. I can hear footsteps upstairs. I hope I'm not disturbing you up there. I don't mean to. This is just, I got a deep, sonorous voice, I'm told. So it should help you sleep. So your insomnia is on you, Stampy. But, yeah, I think it would be good for me if I could, like, sort this shit out. But there's no sorting it out. You're dealing with people that don't give a fuck about you. You get the fuck away from them and you don't get involved with them. And you send them like little cards on the holidays like normal people. You know, I stupidly bought the party line about how family is so important and like how you got to stick with family. Family's the most important thing in life. Family, family, family. And yeah, it helped destroy my health. So it's kind of too late now to do anything about that. The effects have been irreversibly bad, and you can't make people be different than what they are. It's just before my health turned to shit, and I had the benzo problems and all that stuff. It's like I was just able to put up with it, and it was bad. It was actually bad for me before, but once my health went to shit, and it got, you know, they had demands put up on them that they were not used to, so they turned abusive on me. So yeah, as far as reconciling with them, there's really not any point. It's like I still talk to my brother, even though like he didn't help me out. He doesn't care enough about me to put me up for 3 months. You know, I should have told him like, yeah, I already paid you 1 month's rent when I brought you that $400 envelope. He just gave it to you and told you not to pay me back. How about put me up for a month? But yeah, the whole idea was you don't want to live in a house with somebody that don't want you. So um, the whole idea, of course, was for me to have a nice summer and to be able to go outside and enjoy nature instead of living in this place is really roach infested too, man. I had a scene out of a fucking horror movie in here. It's like I found the roach mecca in this place, and I never opened my bathroom cabinet. So I opened my bathroom cabinet to get a new razor to put on my shaver, and there's like 30 fucking roaches crawling around in there, and like I shut it real fast, and I turned on the lights to keep the lights on, and then I got that roach poison, and then I put like a huge glob of it. I don't know if that stuff's. I think I have to. That's something I can do. Is I can call my friend and ask him where he got that roach poison because it did work, but I think it's expired or something, or it's not working, or I'm not putting down enough of it because it did work before, but it's not working now. I mean, there's roaches all over this damn place. Um, and I need to beat them back before they become. I mean, that was like right out of a horror movie. Man, open up the cabinet, there's just at least 30 roaches crawling around in there, and I'm like slammed it shut, like I was gonna keep them in there. Yeah, and was like, oh, okay, this must be where the nest is somewhere around there because there's always a lot of roaches on the bathroom sink, and apparently there's a shit ton inside that cabinet. So the nest might be inside the wall behind there. Because the whole point of that poison is the roach is supposed to take it back to the nest, and then the roach dies, and then the other roaches eat the dead one. And this process is supposed to be done repeatedly until you got no more roaches. And then I would put the stuff down, but I would put it down in like underneath my stove in the kitchen. I'd put like a little can of cat food that's mostly empty, and I would put it down there, and I'd put the poison inside it, or I'd put the poison around it, and I would put it underneath the stove since they like the dark. And then pretty soon I wouldn't be seeing any roaches at all for like 2 weeks, and then they would come back, and then I would, rinse and repeat. Um, but yeah, I guess I have to. I'm told that stuff's pretty expensive, but I can look it up on the computer and see if I can find it on eBay or something. Plunk down some money for it because road situation here is out of hand. But yeah, it would have been nice to live in the country, out there in the suburbs, and be able to sit outside, get some sun, not have to worry about people stomping over top of you. I mean, my brother is no party by no means, but he would have been sleeping upstairs, and I would have been sleeping in the downstairs bedroom, and it would have only been for 3 months, and we could have had a common goal of brotherhood and what they call a symbiotic relationship, where I help him and he helps me. I fix the place up. He puts me up and gets me out of this shithole and away from Gerald. And I get to be outside, and I get to take walks around a quiet neighborhood, and I get my scooter moved there, and I can learn how to ride my one scooter that's I have trouble with because the other one is too goddamn slow and doesn't have any shocks in it. And so could have been a nice summer for me, but my brother just, he don't do change. I'm pretty sure he's still got his codependent relationship going on with his internet provider, or he would have told me otherwise. So he doesn't like his internet provider, but he hasn't changed it and refuses to change it. So it's kind of silly of me to. I did ask him about it, and he did say yes, but it was kind of silly of me to think like, oh, that he would be willing to disrupt his life that much. He's It's like the stone in the shoe thing. He's just comfortable having that stone jab him in the shoe over and over again and likes that stone. It's like Stockholm syndrome. He's a prisoner of his own situation, but he gets to like his situation after a while. He gets to like his captors of anxiety and lack of hot water and lack of food, which I could have helped him with because I would have been getting my global meals shipped there. Plus, um, I would have had money because, yeah, we would be like, okay, the things that you do as far as like reporting rent, if it's between friends or between relatives, you know, you have arrangements that are made. A banging noise. I don't know where that's from or why that's what that's about, but that's disturbing. But none of that was to be. I forgive him for it because I know he's crazy. So, you know, not crazy, just disturbed. Because, like I said, he was born fabulous too. He was fucked at birth as soon as he was born. So, um, that was an incredibly self destructive move and a destructive one to me that turned down that opportunity because I had 6 grand and I would have just pimped out his house and it would have been good for him and it could have been good for me. I don't know how it would have turned out. You know, just on paper it looked very, very like a very promising solution. Because I have a cousin that lives with his brother and his wife, and right away he went there. He's like, "Yeah, I always wondered why you didn't just live with your brother." And I was like, "Have you met my brother?" Yeah, he is not easy to get along with. But we would stayed out of each other's hair. After being shut up in here all the time, I would just be outside sitting in the backyard on the Wi-Fi, chatting to y'all or writing. That's my writing gesture, but really I type like this. And type very long things like with one finger and a thumb. Um, but yeah, I would just be outside. I would deliberately not be in his hair. And only would have been for the summer. I mean, yeah. Why in the hell would I want to live with the ghosts of the past in my family's house? The house I grew down in. I didn't grow up, I grew down. Yeah. All those fucking nightmarish memories and all the things that could have been, all the reminders of all the things that could have been and should have been. See, because my parents at heart were not bad people. You're like, how can you say that about your father after all the things that you say your father did? No, my father wanted to have a family. He wanted a lot of kids, and he wanted things to be different. The problem was, you are who you are, and having kids ain't gonna change that. I mean, I was talking to my brother about this. That I remember a picture with like a toy tractor underneath the Christmas tree that goes back like God knows early 70s, late 60s. Because I'm pretty sure they bought that house that I grew up in the 50s, and they had like a pool table set up in the basement. By the time you know I got older, the basement was just something out of a fucking horror movie, and I'm assuming it still is. But it's like you'd walk down there. They had like a we had like a they we had like a freezer down there, right? You had to pay a price to get your extra fudge sickle or your popsicle because you had to walk through water. We actually had toads, like, and frogs. We had a frog that was living in the basement for a while because we had such a water problem in the basement, which could have been addressed, but never was because, my dad was crazy. And, like, the guy had a worse water problem that lived next door to us. I used to hang out with their kid. That's how I know. And the person that bought the house after them fixed it. You just have to pay somebody to fix that. But my dad would not pay anybody to fix his problems. So, you know, they had like, I'm talking like they could have had these frogs. They could have had fucking tarpons swimming around in their basement. Their basement would get flooded so bad because they were actually down a hill from us, as I have expressed probably before when I was talking about like the guy did not want us to go in his yard. And it's like, yeah, but you have a hill and we're playing ball in our yard, and that means we have to, like, you know, be Jerry Rice and catch everything that comes or rolls down your hill. Surprised he didn't run out there and say, I'm keeping this, and grab our football. But it's like, yeah, we don't want to get in your yard and get yelled at. But the point being is there was that hill. So if we had a wet basement, they damn sure had a wet basement. But if you wanted to steal that extra fudge sickle, you had to earn that motherfucker. There was frogs and toads and shit living in that basement, man, and getting by just fine. I don't know how the frog got in there. Toads is everywhere, but frogs, that was weird that we had a frog living in the basement. My brother got kind of attached to it, and he said, I don't know how it makes a living. It's so skinny. And I'm like, it's skinny. It's living in the goddamn basement. If you want to do the frog a favor, catch the motherfucker and throw him in a pond down the street. Help him out, man. He's trapped. He got washed in there one night through a broken window or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's the kind of insanity. But the point that I'm making is like our parents actually loved us and wanted us to do well. They were just crazy themselves. And, wolves give birth to wolves and ducks give birth to ducks and crazy gives birth to crazy. So, you know, it's like, it wasn't going to happen. But they both came from bad, really bad households, and they wanted to, fix that, or maybe fix their own childhood. Maybe sometimes people have kids for the dumbest reason of all, which is they want somebody to love them. Yeah, that never works out. Um, if you have kids for that reason, that means you're not a fucking adult and you're not thinking, because parents do not love their kids are selfish little fuckers. And they do end up, you can get like physical affection and stuff from your kids, but as far as like actually loving you in a real kind of way, that happens later on after they move out and everything. And they're like, oh, Dad, I appreciate everything that you did for me. And like I told my mom over the phone, unfortunately, it's the best I could do at the time. Before she got dementia, I told her, like, everything good about me is because of you. That meant something to her because she told that to somebody else in the family. And they said that, yeah, she told me you said that. Um, or maybe they brought it up. I don't know. I know it was my older sister that I don't talk to now. And said something about it to me that, like, she remarked on that, so that made an impression on her. That was 2009. She was, I think, already in a wheelchair and already having trouble walking at that point. But as far as dementia, she knew who she was and she knew who you were. Because she probably already had some dementia going on. It was just like not bad um, yet. Not that there's any good dementia. But her mind hadn't slipped as bad as it would later. Because she's dead in 2015, and that was like 2009 when I talked to her on the phone. So that was like 6 years before that. She had dementia for like a long, well, maybe it seemed longer than it was. It seemed like, the really bad part of her dementia seemed like 3 years, maybe. I don't know. I hear they made a new movie with Anthony Hopkins that is from the point of view of the person with dementia. It's like, I don't know if I want to watch that. Where, like, in other words, I was having the movie explained to me by somebody on the internet, and, like, it's from the point of view of somebody that doesn't know what the fuck is going on, like, so when they would introduce an actress that would be the person's daughter, they would be like, hi, Vivian. And then Vivian would come in and look completely different. But it would still be Vivian, and we would know that as the audience. But we're confused at first because we're like, wait a minute, why is she calling herself Vivian and saying, you're my mother or you're my father? I'm still thinking about my mother. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're using different people so that you can get that thing where, from the demented person's point of view, where they don't know you, so they're bringing it. They don't tell you that in the movie. I'm assuming it's like a to give you that jarring point of view, to where there's somebody that you don't know that's claiming to be your offspring. And you're like, yeah. So they bring in a completely different actress, saying like, I'm Vivian. And they have like 3 or 4 or 5 different Vivians. I don't know if I want to watch that. You know, it's interesting concept for a movie, but I don't know if I want to watch that. So how long have I been talking for? Let's see. I thought I'd talk for a while in case somebody was exceptionally bored. Oh, an hour and 14 minutes. But yeah, I guess I could go try to eat. And I wasn't supposed to do that, by the way. That defeats the whole purpose of helping you kill time if I'm checking the time. I was curious how long I was talking for because I didn't think I could manage talking this long. I still have whatever crawled up my nose is still there, so it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Um, as far as the weather here, it's been a little snowy and a little cold. I mean, we're getting lows like 26, so I've just been leaving the cat out, especially since I haven't been feeling well. Like, I don't need to deal with him, and I don't need to have the window open. And I just cleared out my mailbox like yesterday with all fucking messed up and my stomach all messed up, just because my mailbox was all jammed full of stuff like somebody that's on vacation. And yeah, so I can't keep my mailbox clear. I don't want to have to deal with the cat. So I don't know if he's been getting his regular meals or not, but he's fat enough that he can miss a meal. I know that I put food after dark. I just randomly put some food out there I couldn't see down there. I do have this flashlight, but it's not very bright. I need to buy like new AAA batteries. Ooh, that was rude. Maybe it's brighter than I think. But I didn't check to see if I was feeding him or who I was feeding. I just put some food out there when I woke up at 8:30 and put it out there in the dark. And whoever gets to eat it gets to eat it. But I gave him one meal earlier in the day, and the day before, I think I'm not sure if he got a meal or not. I don't know. Um, if I was feeling better, I would just let him in the house again if he wants, and keep the window open at night. But yeah, I'm sure January and February are the shit months in Ohio as far as winter. January and February, you always got to count on them sucking. So I'm sure I'll have plenty of opportunities to let him in the house. And 25 degrees is not that cold to a cat that has been weatherproofed and has grown in his winter coat. That's why you throw them out in September, is so that in December they'll be cool with hanging around. You can throw like a cat that's not winterized, you can throw him out in like 32-degree weather and he's cool. But you start talking about 14-degree weather like we had, and yeah, that winter coat or that coat of fur that they have, unless it's a real winterized cat, that's just cruelty. But I let him in, winter coat or no winter coat, just because he old, and I want him to be comfortable um, for a while. So I let him in. Plus, we had that huge storm coming, and most of that snow is gone by now because since we had some warmer weather and some rain, we had that huge storm on Christmas Eve. Ended up in a couple of days dropping like 7 inches of snow, which is a pretty huge storm for around here. Um, Not for them old school winters when I was young, but winter has changed in this area at least from when I was young. But anyways, I don't know if this frog that's living in my throat will ever be gone, um, or why I even get them anymore. I can understand getting them when I was smoking pot and smoking cigars and stuff, but why I would get them now? But it's basically a lunger. They would call it a lunger in Stand By Me, a loogie, a lunger, or whatever. And I have forgotten, due to my extreme politeness, I have forgotten how to hawk up a loogie in a proper fashion, or how to clear my throat properly. So, yeah, this is uh, more pleasant than shit talk, I suppose. Shit talk also means trash talking, but I haven't really been trash talking anybody. I have been mentioning the eccentricities of my family, but that's not really shit talking them. Um, I don't know. I've been thinking like, well, if nobody is going to help me out, I'm not going to. It's like my rich friend is aware of the situation, and I could actually ask him. I don't like to ask him anything though. I don't like to ask him to borrow money because I don't like to bring money into a relationship when it's a really rich person and a really poor person. I like to keep our relationship pure in that way. It's different. Poor people asking poor people for help is different. somehow, I just don't like it. Or I could just say, like, he'd probably spend it all like in a couple of weeks and come back and give me $1,000. Maybe I'm being prideful. I was thinking, like, maybe it's a pride thing that I don't want to live in a dilapidated state in a nursing home and having people wiping my asses and shit. And I don't want that. And that's why I'll take death over that. Maybe, it's a pride thing that I don't just be like to my friend, like, there you go. Would you do this for me? It's like, yeah, I think that guy's earned the right not to use an EBT card. Even if he would do it, he'd probably be willing to do it. I don't know. But see, he knows the situation. He didn't offer to do it, so I'm not going to ask him. I'm not asking him for that. So what I'm thinking is I should get the card and I should buy different foods that might help my digestive process. And I need to start moving around on a regular basis too, which is easier said than done on legs that don't work. And start like just doing basic stretches with my legs. So I'm sorry about Mr. Frog. So um, I would, I have less trouble putting on clothes and stuff because I'm starting to get stiffness and it looks like maybe a little swelling in my left knee too. And yeah, this whole CRPS thing is really kicking into high gear. Uh, so I could consider doing that. Of course, I would have to be able to contact the person that actually has the card that won't text me or that won't answer any of my phone calls and ask them to drop it off in the mailbox or something. And and I canceled both days of my aid workers this week just because I've been sleeping so weird. And yesterday I was just very sick, so I just like, no, I don't want to see nobody. It saves me money anyway. I just end up spending money because really I should have them go through here and clean my house, but I don't like that either. And I also don't know, like, as far as the roach situation, I don't know if they have to report that kind of deplorable conditions I live in. And, you know, I don't know at what point. I don't know how it works as far as like how far does one person's a person's autonomy stretch? In other words, like how far is it before the authorities are allowed to step in and be like, you need to go to a nursing home. We're going to drag you out of here and make you do it. You know, it's like you can't take care of yourself. When's the last time you had a shower? Look at all these damn roaches around this place. You can't take out your own garbage. You can't take care of yourself. And yeah, so I don't really ask these aid worker peoples to do anything like housework wise. And or like when my bathroom was all horrible, which is I did some cleaning in there. It's less horrible now because I don't really know, and if I find out, it will probably be in a very bad way. How far does your autonomy stretch before the authorities can step in and say, like, this person needs help whether they want it or not? I don't really know. I guess I could ask my cop friend, he might know, but it's something to consider. All these fun things that I have to think about. It's no wonder I'm such a cheerful person. Yeah. Oh, damn. I was threatened with that in the hospital, by the way, that whole shit removal thing. That was a piece of gum. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. So, yeah, there's still things I can do, and I still find life interesting. Um, I also uh, actually bothered to check on these cards that I have. I'm not into selling cards right now. I'm kind of into, like, I don't know, surviving. And I have enough money now, but I was checking on these cards of Justin Herbert, who's going to win Rookie of the Year. And 9 of these cards that I have that I have sold for $515, and I got six of them, which means they're probably I could probably sell them for $300 easy. I could probably pad out the lot to the point where it might go big, but I don't like to do that. It's kind of like gambling sometimes. That's why I always parse things out in small little drips and drabs. That way, like if an auction doesn't work, you don't lose that much. But if I put all these expensive cards together and for some reason the auction doesn't do as well as it should, the cards are gone. So I mean, I'll make a profit off them anyway. But I was surprised. I was like $515, huh? It's a pretty good chunk of change. I got six of them things in that drawer over there, and I was checking into that. I got a lot of Justin Herbert cards, so I'll keep an eye on that. But I probably won't sell any until football season begins next year when everybody's all hyped for it. That seemed to work the best. And he'll still be rookie of the year and be coming off. He set the rookie touchdown record, and at 28, he's already got it with one game to go. So it's a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs are probably going to rest everybody for the playoffs. So he could get as many as, two, three, four touchdowns that pad that record out. I think 30 has a nice ring to it if he throws 30 touchdowns in his rookie year. Point being is they're not going to go down in value. People are grabbing them now, but because like there's buzz around him, but people be hyped and be in that same type of frenzy before the season starts, especially if the San Diego Chargers like do some kind of off-season moves that net them some good players, or they spend some money on some free agents, and then there's hype surrounding the team and stuff like that. So there's no hurry for any of that, and I can save money here. That's why I get so little in food stamps, is because um, or food credits or whatever you want to call them, is because like I get it's not a lot of money really, but I get $1,264 disability a month to live on. So they give you the max before you're not allowed to get any food credits. The COVID thing just happens; it's just set aside, like I said, in a different pile. They just give it to anybody. So like if you have an EBT card, you get this amount. It has nothing to do. Maybe it does. Okay. Forget everything I just said, which you probably will anyway, but just at this particular moment, forget everything I said. I think they are factoring in the EBT max out, because they max it out to whatever it is you can get. Uh, you know, so I think the cutoff is like 1,400, something like that, in the 1,400s, and then I already get like in the 1,200s in cash. That would make sense. So yeah, they are taking that into account. That's why they knocked that down to $3. Is they're figuring the $3 plus the COVID plus your cash income, and that's the max that you're allowed to make and still receive, food supplements or the SNAP program. Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, what other bullshit can I talk about while I'm talking? Oh man, I don't know. So that's probably a good time to leave y'all, because I can't think of nothing else to talk about. And I don't like to run. I don't like repeats, even though of course I am guilty of them. Um, and I don't like, I rehash like past things just because they are relevant to current things, which is like the whole thing with my brother and possibly spending the summer with me, like out in the suburbs, is kind of relevant because was thinking about that the last couple of days. It was like, I wonder how that would have worked out for me, or if I'd be in this bad a shape, not being able to eat anything but cheese sandwiches and not being able to walk across the goddamn floor without impaling my hands on screws and whatnot. if my brother actually wasn't a little bit, a little bit, and cause he's still saving money for hot water. You know, it's like wintertime here, and he's using well water, which is even colder. I mean, the water that comes out of my tap is city water, and that shit is cold. But well water, it's like liquid ice. I remember living in a house and what that cold water was like in the wintertime, like liquid ice. So that's what he's using right now. He don't have any hot water because he didn't let me live in his house and fix up his hot water situation. And he's currently saving money to supposedly get that fixed. I don't know how much money he's got saved up, but he could have had that fixed months ago. And so really he's punishing himself, so I don't have to be mad at him. You know, the thing with my sister is kind of a different deal. She kind of did punish herself because she deprived herself of my company. Can you imagine somebody doing that voluntarily? That's just crazy. So she's punishing herself too. You know, so whatever. But even still, when she showed up here, like I don't know what was that, like 2 months ago, when she showed up here, man, I didn't feel nothing but hate towards her. So forgiving her would be cool if I could figure it out. But she would have to help me to forgive her. She would have to make some kind of gesture besides baking me a damn cake, which I'm not even sure who baked that cake because she didn't talk to me when she was here. She just stood in the doorway, and her daughter was like, "My mom wanted you to have this cake," and I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "I'm going to put it in your refrigerator," and I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Yeah, cake ain't gonna cut it, man. We need to be able to talk to each other and talk it out." And I need to, I could see remorse and sadness and whatnot on her face. But she wasn't sober either. And I don't even know if it was her idea to be there in the first place. I think it was her daughter's idea, and it wouldn't surprise me if her daughter baked the damn cake. Her daughter wants us to reconcile us. But yeah, sometimes you need help from people to work that forgiveness angle. It depends on the type of person you are and how bad you got injured by whatever they did. But, generally speaking, I need some sign from you. Let me know that you fucked up, and then I'm good to go. Until I get that, I don't know if I can't just like, oh, I forgive you for being crazy. You know, with my brother, I don't know why it's different with my brother. I don't know. I don't know. You don't really want to watch me try to figure out the difference, do you? why it why it's different. I don't know why am I giving my brother a pass and not my sister? I think it was because I was crying in front of my sister and having an actual breakdown, and then she wasn't. She was mean to me, and that like when my brother was like kicking me to the curb more or less as far as like, oh no, you ain't staying in my house. You want to stay in my house and have me eating better food and having me have hot water and shit and fixing up my bathroom so I can have a shower. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I don't want any of that shit. You take that shit and you get walking. You want to make my life better. Are you out of your fucking mind? And all I gotta do is let you stay in my house for like 3 months and I can have a remodeled bathroom, hot water, and eat better. Nah, that's a horrible deal. What do I get out of it? So I think I forgive him for that because I wasn't crying at the time. I think that's why I can't forgive my sister because it's like you can miss emotional cues, but if somebody's like bawling their eyes out to you, it's kind of like hard to miss that maybe there's something wrong here, and if they haven't done it for like 30 years, it's like maybe yeah, maybe there's something serious going on here, something that I should take serious. And then the fact that like I stuck my neck out because I was like, this is bad for my health. I should try to fix this. And I tried to fix it, and then it just made it worse. And then she was just as mean to me as ever. And, you know, she was saying I'm sorry, but it wasn't like in a meaningful way. You can just hear it in the tone of her voice. It's just words, you know. It's like when some people say, I love you. Like right now, I'll say it, I love you. Okay. You know that's just words. Now, for other people, it's a meaningful fucking thing. Okay. You have to remember, like, I'm not talking to you personally. I am right now looking at myself saying, I love you. So maybe I do mean it. So just so you know. But you know what I'm saying, man? It's like when some people say I'm sorry, it's a big deal. Some people can say that stuff, and it's no more than a burp or a fart. And the same goes with I love you to some people. You know, they'll be like to a stranger, man, I love you. It doesn't fucking matter. Some people like you couldn't the Grand Inquisitor couldn't have drugged that shit out of my father. I never heard my father say I love you. Like, yeah, Torquemada himself could not have gotten my father to tell me that he loved me. It just wasn't in his vocabulary. So, you know, hearing that from him would have meant something. Uh, Whereas, like, hearing that from, like, oh, like my cousins are always big on that. They were the first ones, like, from people from my generation. If you're dudes, you don't say I love you for some reason. It's like, I don't. I wanted to say I love you to my brother the other night. I didn't say it just because it would make him uncomfortable. And like the only time he told me that he loved me was like when our mother died and he was crying on the phone and shit. He's like, I know I don't say it enough, but you know, I love you, you know, when he's crying and stuff because our mother just died. And it's like, enough. I don't think you've ever said that to me. He just don't say that. You know, that's the only time I ever heard him say I love you because he was raised by our father. But people from our generation, like I said, it was really funny. I don't know if I got hung. I think I got hung up on accidentally, but I was all emotional when I told my best friend that I loved him, and then I was like, click, and I was like, son of a bitch. Not even an awkward pause where they don't know what to say, as far as whether they should say it back or not. Not even that thing where they say well, you're a good person or something that's they don't say it back. I don't even get that, man. I just get a fucking they're not there anymore. That happened with my brother the other night, where I'm talking to him on the phone, and I'm talking about some fucking deeply hurtful, emotional shit, you know. And we had already he had already established that he wanted to get off the phone, but I was like, well, I won't take long, but I just wanted to say this, and then I was saying some stuff about how I was worried about this and worried about that, and then like I could tell there's nobody there. I'm like, hello. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm like, I was pissed. And I called him back, you know, and he didn't pick up the phone. And I was like, left an answering machine message. I said, I feel like I got hung up on, man. I was like, all I was going to say is I'm afraid that this person was mad at me. And that's all I really wanted to say. You know, I just feel like I got hung up on. And then, like, that was pretty much all I said to the answering machine. And I was still, like, upset because you getting off the phone with him is weird. Like sometimes you don't get any goodbye or like anything like that. You don't get any okay, talk to you later or anything like that. It's just dead air. So what happened was, of course, is his phone went dead, which occurred to me like um, afterwards. But see, usually when somebody's phone is dying and you're on a house phone, it warns you. Or you know, even if you're using a cell phone, low battery, you're like, oh, I only got a little bit left on my battery. And somebody says something about it to you, but he didn't say nothing to me about it. But I could hear like the phone was missing periodically, like it does when a house phone dies. And then I thought about that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what happened. But then he called me back, And I was like, I told him, like, I appreciate you taking my feelings into consideration. I want to let him know I appreciate that, that you actually showed concern for my feelings and stuff like that. And then I was touched by that because I'm not used to it. And then I wanted to say, I love you, but I was like, oh, that'll make him have to say it back and he'll be all uncomfortable. So I was like, take care of yourself, man. Like what you would say to anybody, and let the moment slide. Um, yeah. Anyways, people from my generation are weird about that. Like, uh, the whole I love you thing between men. And so when I encountered like that with my cousins, that there's like, oh, there's this guy telling me that he loves me, and like I kind of got used to it. I'm like, yeah, there's it's kind of a natural thing. You feel warm feelings toward somebody. It doesn't matter if they have a dick, and you're both straight males. You should be able to say "fucking I love you" to them. So I don't know I don't know if that is a result of like homophobia or what, or vulnerability, or like men not expressing themselves, or the Marlboro Man, tough guy, John Wayne shit from back in the day, or I have no idea where that came from. But I am on the side of it's cool, just don't overuse it. Don't answer the phone by saying, "Oh, I love you." It's an okay. Like whenever I say goodbye to my cousin in Florida, I always tell him I love him, and you know, um, but my brother's not comfortable with that. But I did feel like really kind feelings toward him since he actually thought of my feelings and called me back. Hopefully, he wasn't just worried about me excommunicating him, so he wouldn't have somebody's ear to bend. Or hopefully that was an altruistic act. That's the way I took it. That way, he was worried about me and my feelings. Okay, please allow me and my illusions. You know, come on, brain, allow me those illusions. Don't think of like things like, oh yeah, he's just thinking about you being mad at him and thinking about like how inconvenient that would be for him if he needs somebody to have like a 2 hour and 45 minute conversation with on the phone if he felt lonely. Which I guess you know that's the thing. Is like we talk for like ridiculously long times on the phone anyway. It's like, what's the difference if I move in your house? Yeah, I don't know. We didn't talk about it, of course. Uh, I just like I got the that was a good idea that I came up with as far as dealing with him. It's like whenever I ask him to do something, that's how I made up with him. It's like just give me a yes or a no, and if you need time to think about it, in order to come up with a yes or a no, tell me, give me some time to think about it, and we'll leave it at that. You know, I made my friend laugh because I was like, yeah, that's how I worked it out with him because he said I could do that, and to me that's a yes, but to him that just means it's a possibility. He could do it in some feasible way in some part of the multiverse that could happen. But to me, if I ask you something, you're like, I could do that. I'm not gonna do it, but I could. But he thought that was funny. He was like, um, yeah. Sometimes I feel dishonest when I talk to him because I'm such a foul mouthed, nasty minded son of a bitch, and like I'm real polite around him in respect, out of respect for my best friend, because he doesn't enjoy foul language. I've never heard the guy swear, and he's like a he refers to himself as an evangelical Christian, and he considers me saved, so he doesn't have to save me, so I don't have to be preached at, and I just clean up my language around him, and I don't like just say whatever comes to mind, and it's not like I can't be spontaneous. I just can't be spontaneous in a filthy way. It's like so I guess it is. I'm not really as spontaneous around him as I should be, but that's like out of respect for his not liking foul language, or I test the boundaries a little bit. But yeah, he hangs around with my brother, and it's like he was surprised. I was like, my brother's got the filthiest sense of humor. He's a funny guy, but he's got the filthiest sense of humor. And he's like, my brother must do the same thing because he was like, really? I'm like, oh, my brother's been holding back too. But yeah, he told me something funny the other day. They were working on something, and Sean's like, "Oh, I said my brother's name. I'm not going to be able to edit it anyway." See, this is where spontaneity gets you. But anyways, my brother, I'm going to pretend like that didn't happen. Uh, my brother is like way more mechanically inclined than my friend, whose name I'm not going to say. Uh, and my friend says to my brother, if you use the wrench like this, and my brother looks over his shoulder and says, "Yeah, thanks for the advice, Dad." 50-year-old man talking to a 66-year-old man. And I was talking to my friend, and he was like, "Yeah, your brother really put me in my place." And I was like, "Yeah, you can do that." Um, but anyways, see, that's another reason why I might want to stay alive is I find people to be fucking funny as hell. Because most of them I don't understand, and it's like I while I was sick and not being able to do anything, I was wasting time on this fret on this thread about the death of Breonna Taylor, where the police came in and her boyfriend um, shot a policeman in the leg, and they opened fire and shot up the whole goddamn apartment building, and they just like freaked out, and panicked. And anyways, I was writing on that thread, and I was amused by people's reactions, and I expressed that I was like, it always cracks me up, like the logical contortions that people will go through to reach a conclusion because they want to believe something, you know. And I'm like, and this guy was like, he was protecting his girlfriend. I'm like, okay, his girlfriend's here. She doesn't have a gun. He's here. He has a gun. In a hallway, the cops break down the door, and he shoots at the cops. And it's like, if you want to protect your girlfriend, that's not the way to do it. And I was like, what you do is like, honey, somebody is fucking beating the fuck out of our door. I got a gun in my hand. Go hide in the bedroom and call 911 if you want to protect your girlfriend. Or like, better yet, if you think it's a fellow drug dealer or thug that's going to, I don't know, get in a shootout with you, tell her to crawl out the fucking window if you don't want to call the police and call 911. So it cracks me up the way people think, and people are amusing to me, and my family is amusing to me. Sometimes even while they're abusing to me, they're amusing to me. So uh, yeah, I'm like, that's how you protect your girlfriend. Is he protected his girlfriend so well that she was shot 6 times and he was shot 0 times. And then I actually looked up their weight and height, and she was 5'7", 200 pounds. He was 5'10", 180 pounds. What probably happened? We're talking about a small hallway here. What probably happened is he used her for a human shield. Because I mean, what are the odds of, like, there was at least 22 bullets fired down that hallway? He didn't take none of them, and she took 6. I'm like, that's a hell of a coincidence. And I was pretending like I was a judge just to amuse myself. So I was like, you know, I do not see enough evidence to support the conclusion. It's merely circumstantial evidence, mind you. I was talking like in the best legal ease I could fake, basically saying like, I'll go along with it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence that this is a pretty large girl, and she was shot 6 times, and he was somehow shot 0 times. And I'm like, and this guy over here saying that he's protecting his girlfriend. It's like, no, most likely he was shooting over her shoulder. And also, it was funny. Like they were like, the one person wanted, because they want to, vilify the police and make the people that got shot innocent heroes. So um, they were like, he fired a warning shot. And I was like, he fired a warning shot, huh? He shot first, and he shot the cop high in the thigh. And it's like, the idea, I'm not sure you understand what a warning shot is. The purpose of a warning shot is not to hit anybody and to warn them that you will shoot them, not to shoot them. You don't shoot people with a warning shot. And I was like, a warning shot is problematic in an apartment building where you want to get the deposit back. I know this, but you don't fire a warning shot down a hallway towards people. That's not a warning shot. So yeah, people crack me up, you know. And then like I said, I showed that video to or I was just like having this argument with this guy named Maro Cat. I remember the guy's name. And I was like, well, if you read all this, you know, because I was like relating that my experiences with the cops, which have been too many since living here, and the drug trade, too many since I've been living here. And I was like, if you read all this, you know, here's how bad it got. And then I put up the link to my video of machetes and police, and he was like, well, now that I know who I'm arguing at, some guy in bed shirtless talking to a piece of shit computer. What does that have to do with anything? And I flipped it around on him, you know, a little bit. Of course, I didn't get no replies. You know, you should know. He should have known by then. He was in like way over his head. He was even like saying shit like, "Yeah, they were calling through the door to see if it was somebody that needed help." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what the gun was for." Well, you need me to hammer in a nail with the hammer with the stock, you know? Because people want to believe. It's called confirmation bias. People want to believe something. They will contort their mind around 15 different kind of ways in order to support that belief or opinion. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter, you know. But the whole thing about the idea about protecting the girlfriend when the girlfriend got shot 6 times and he got shot 0 times is like, yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're having, if he was really protecting his girlfriend, I don't think we're having this conversation right now because she doesn't get shot to death, you know. And I made a pretty, I thought, valid point. It's like the really sad part of this is like this could be a message to young women: don't date drug dealers. But instead, it is being politicized for anti-police rhetoric, and by BLM and by other agencies when it should really be a serious warning for girls not to date drug dealers because that whole shit don't happen if her ex named Glover wasn't a drug dealer and the police weren't investigating, looking into his affairs because um, that's all they had was a warrant for the property, which made the actions of the guy who shot the cop completely stupid because they had no warrants on him at all. He had never been in trouble with the police before, but he had a guilty conscience. And he didn't want to approach the door and find out who's at the door because maybe, just maybe, he was thinking, that's that Glover guy. I'm fucking that guy's old girlfriend. He's not, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with all this entangled shit or what's going on inside that guy's head. But all he had to do is answer the fucking door. That's all he had to do. Answer the fucking door. And the funny part about it is they had a no-knock warrant and they issued a no-knock warrant here. And so I know how that goes down. Here's how a no-knock warrant goes down. They actually do knock on the door. They knock on the door and say, Maslin Police Department. And then, boom, immediately the battering ram. And then they're flooding the apartment saying, everybody down, everybody down. Because that happened over top of me. When there was a stolen goods ring that was operating out of this building. And so I actually witnessed the whole police raid and everything. And so I said, that's how the raid would go down. But they actually knocked, waited, knocked again, you know, called to the door. Did you pick up your gun yet? And then the guy was just shrugged after about a minute or so and said, go ahead and hit it. And then they rammed the door open and the guy was waiting in the hallway and shot one of the cops in the doorway. And then there was 32 shots, I think, taken by the police. One shot. The officer that was shot high in the thigh. And I think it was a pretty serious bullet wound. Don't tell my older brother. And life threatening. And you know, they shot into other apartments. They shot so crazy because they handled the whole thing wrong. The cops did. They shot through the ceiling of the apartment and there was like somebody with a baby in the apartment upstairs. Nobody got hit, and they shot into another apartment this way, and they shot into the bedroom like off at an angle like this. There were just people. There were just bullets flying everywhere. Everything went nuts. But anyways, that's enough about that. This frog's about to hop out of my throat, and you don't want to see that. So sayonara, and hope you have a good year, or a year that at least you find tolerable. And peace, happiness, wealth, if that's your thing. And everybody like money. Anyways, so goodbye, and I will choke at you later.